name is Shaston. This is part 2 of my personal takeaways from Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance. And if you'd like to take a look at my first video, the link is in the description below. So let's get started. Okay, my 9th personal takeaway from the book is don't get complacent with your aptitude. If you hit a plateau, keep trying to incrementally improve. Have a quantity of quality, well-focused practice. So do you have a specific goal for your training? Do you keep track of your improvement? It's not enough to work hard. You need to be cognizant of how this work is helping you improve. There needs to be a method to your madness, basically. Set a stretch goal, narrowing in on one aspect of your performance and keep drilling. Maintain your strengths, but also improve specific weaknesses. Set out challenges you can't just yet meet. Find your Achilles heel, come up with a plan to overcome it, and with undivided attention and great effort, just go. If you can, get immediate feedback. This is why coaches, some tutors, some teachers, and some mentors can sometimes be great. Sometimes if you don't have the best around, maybe try to videotape yourself or find another person to get immediate feedback from. Peer reviews, depending on what exactly you're trying to improve upon. But find out what you did wrong. Don't take it to heart. Just know that just find out what you did wrong immediately, and then immediately do what you can to do what you can to get better. Find out the steps necessary to fix it, and again and again and again, keep drilling until the conscious incompetence becomes unconscious competence. The most complex human abilities can be broken down into its component parts, and if you can practice those component skills over and over and over again with complete concentration, it might not be enjoyable. It's because you're fully focused, it's very uncomfortable to continuously not put yourself in autopilot, but grouped with an overall passion for the field and the joy of finally progressing towards mastery in something that you have been working towards is one of the most amazing experiences. If you can practice with complete concentration, you know it's even okay to take a break and repair and replenish yourself, because just don't nap all the time. Recovery from consistent full mind and body effort is a necessity to replenish yourself and to continue having those kind of amazing type of practices. No one wants to show you their hours and hours over years and years of perfecting something that looks kind of boring over and over and again. They'd much rather show you the highlight reel of what they became. And that's why a lot of times people don't realize all the hard work that goes into becoming and achieving something great. Becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor, or you don't have to become an incredibly good-looking movie star to know that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of rejection and a lot of failure to get to the highest places. And it takes a lot of boring, tedious things sometimes. And it's well worth the effort, because if you are passionate about the field and you want to get better, that's what you need to do in order to get better, is to keep drilling. Even whether it's math or whether it's a sport, you gotta put the effort in, and you have to be mentally there. And so my 10th takeaway from the book is, if you put in that complete concentration with full effort on a continuous basis for long enough, you start to enjoy the hard work. That if you continuously put in the hard work towards something and it's incredibly uncomfortable, that's hard to sustain. But for some reason, the way that the brain works, its circuitry changes where it starts to find ways to enjoy the burn, I guess I could put it. It sounds a little masochistic, but deliberate practice, the most difficult, fully concentrated practice, can start to feel more positive the more you do it. So don't lose heart if you're putting in the practice and it's still difficult. It will start to feel good or enjoyable. Just don't mindlessly go through the motions without any real direction. Have a focused channeled practice, and that is what will improve your skills, and those skills are going to be something that will help enrich your life. You have to start relishing the burn, as a lot of exercise enthusiasts like to say. That burn is going to help you progress, and when you progress, it's going to push you towards your goals. So yeah, you're gonna start enjoying the personal challenge. And if you want your practice to be a deliberate, focused practice, here are some components that you might need to make sure that it has in order to make sure it's a worthwhile type of drilling or practice. One, have a clearly defined goal, challenge that you haven't quite been able to do, and you have to have full focus and effort. And there has to be some sort of immediate and informative feedback. Videotape yourself, have a coach, peer review, you know, something that shows you immediately what you did right and what you did wrong. And repeat with reflection and refinement. And if you don't have these things, but you're still working yourself to exhaustion, this is not the practice that is the best. I mean, it still is probably beneficial, but it's not going to count towards your 10,000 hours towards expertise. My 11th takeaway from the book is that you have to make it a routine. Make it a habit, find out when is the best time for you to do what's comfortable in your schedule, and just really think about it, make your choice, and then do deliberate practice at that time every day. It doesn't make the practice any easier, or it doesn't make the effort any easier, but routines help getting started become easier. And that's a huge hurdle sometimes when you know that it's going to be something difficult that you have to do, like just getting started. How many times do people start cleaning their house when they're supposed to be doing a paper, or they're supposed to be studying for an exam? We start to try find ways to be productive in other ways and avoid the difficult challenge. And so if you have a routine that helps you consistently start that difficult challenge every day, then that daily ritual will get you to start the hard work consistently. And you know, if you have it as a habit or a routine, what once took a lot of effort to just get started will become automatic. And if you keep totally immersing yourself in it every day at the same time, your body will start to recognize that this is the time that I need to have full energy, full focus, and then that's going to help you complete your practice. My 12th takeaway from Grit is, she doesn't explicitly say this, I think, but shame doesn't help you learn. It just distracts you from improving. So don't be ashamed if you can't do something yet, or if you need time to learn, or if you need to get creative to find a better way to understand when everyone else seems to be already getting it. Just focus on trying again and again, maybe a little differently, and try to get feedback, and realize that if you try to focus in this area, you have a certain passion that helps aid your determination. You don't need to be afraid or embarrassed, because those are just distractions. Don't mind people if they laugh if you're first learning something and it's not coming easily, or if they say kind of passive-aggressive things, or they're a little belittling. Those are just distractions. Learn how to tune out the hecklers in life. If it is at all possible and those people are in your life, try to keep your interactions with them to a minimum, and don't continuously judge yourself for learning or not doing as well as you wish you could, because you still need to put in time, you still need to put in that mental energy. And just, you know, the only critics that you might want to pay attention to are the people and resources who are dedicated to making you better at your craft, who are working with you or on you on improving yourself. So just a lot of people sometimes can't handle when someone starts to improve, and they compete with their peers, and if they see that their peer is rising above them, they want to keep them down. And a really effective way is by belittling them or telling them they can't do it, because your mentality is extremely important in achieving. So just don't let that bother you. Try to keep it at a minimum. Surround yourself with people who are encouraging you instead, or if anything, just give yourself positive self-talk, affirmations. You know, if you're going to have any character flaws, if you're going to be in any of the spectrum of being very having low self-esteem or believing that you're an amazing person, you might as well err on being an amazing person, because that helps you feel confident enough to take on challenges. It doesn't mean that you're rude. It just means that you are comfortable with your skills, or the possibility that your skills will develop. Just keep trying. Just tune out people who don't want you to continue to do well. No shame, just keep trying. You only have one life. My 13th takeaway from the book Grit is it really helps to have an authentic purpose that involves somehow positively impacting other people. When we doubt how worthwhile our effort is for ourselves, if we realize that what we do is connected to the rest of the world, it's just another reason to keep going, to dissuade yourself from wallowing in self-doubt. Someone's purpose isn't the first reason why they end up on their career path, or they start doing a hobby, or they start trying to become more skilled at something. That usually someone deepens and develops their interest before they realize what honestly their calling is to them. Usually your interest can help express your deepest values and start to deliberately cultivate what your purpose is. Then you find ways that even in the least bit help curtail what you're already doing with your work or school or home, free time towards your core values and deepest aspirations and purpose. Sometimes you can't drop everything that you're doing in order to pursue a dream. So you have to start customizing your life and start reflecting on your ambitions and purpose. You have a lot more power in your life than you think. A lot of times the world will make you think that you have to rely on authority figures to help shape your life, or you're at the mercy of your environment, or a lot of things, and those are understandable conclusions because life is just, it's crazy, you know. Not everything is just, and it's tough, and people will even deliberately try to limit your resources or stop on your dreams, but you have to try maintain faith in yourself. You can still make your situation better. There are people who beat seemingly insurmountable odds because they did not lose hope. You have hope to do the same. Keep working hard so when the opportunity presents itself, you're ready. Even if you think it's crazy to allow yourself to believe that tomorrow can still be better than today, just know that your efforts can possibly one day improve your future, but maybe unforeseen ways improve the future of others. Just stop with the negative self-talk. Don't think, I'm an idiot, I can't do this, I want to quit. Just think, I won't quit, I can figure this out. There's something within me that's fighting to win, and I won't stop until I do. Like, those are, let yourself think those type of things. If you can, try. You know, it might seem silly at first, but just try. Just keep working hard towards something that you're passionate about, and you will help yourself find your purpose. And that purpose will help fuel your passion, and your passion will help fuel your grit, and you'll start to achieve. So my 14th takeaway, I'm kind of just all over the place. My 14th takeaway from this book is to maintain, I've already kind of talked about it, is to maintain faith in yourself and hope that there are better days ahead. There's a psychology experiment in 1964 by, I'm sorry if I mispronounced these, Marty Seligman and Steve Mayers. And they gave electric shocks to dogs on their paws without warning. And in one cage, if the dog does nothing, it receives a shock for 5 seconds. But if it pushes its nose against the front panel, the shock ends early. In another cage, the dogs couldn't do anything about the shocks. They just had to take it for the full 5 seconds. And then all those dogs were put in a shuttle box where the back half shocks their paws. There's a barrier wall, and then in front of the barrier wall, there are no shocks. So there's this high-pitched tone that warns the dogs of an impending shock, and then the dogs who had control over the shock in the prior experiment jumped over the barrier in the cage, and then they reached safety towards the non-shock zone. But 2/3 of the dogs who had no control over the shocks and just had to take it in the prior experiment just stayed helpless and just whimpered passively, just taking on the punishment. So even though they could have jumped the wall too, they had just as much opportunity to jump the wall to avoid pain like the other dogs. They just learned to stay helpless even if their situation changed. And I mean, I've been through that before, where even if my situation is different, I still feel like it's not what can I do? Like, it's just gonna be another situation where what I try to do is gonna mean nothing. But you just can't think like that. You could have done something, and you know, it happens in life that we just keep getting knocked down and we feel like we'll always be in the dumps, but everything is in constant flux, especially with technology rapidly changing. The way that we view, the society views the world and what's okay and what's not okay keeps changing. The only constant is change. Even if it doesn't seem like it, our situations evolve. So just keep trying different things, keep going, stay resourceful, get creative, just try to stay optimistic, even if it seems delusional in whatever situation you're in. Just, one study mentioned in the book mentioned swimmers training in the Olympic trials, and they took an optimism test to determine how optimistic they were. And the coaches asked their swimmers to swim in their best event, and then they deliberately told them that they swam slower than they really did. So then the swimmers were asked to repeat the swim, and the swimmers who tested as optimists did at least just as well as they did in the prior swim. But the swimmers who tested as pessimists did substantially worse than their first test or their first swim. So your mindset has an incredible influence on how well you perform in life. So if you want to have more grit, a better work ethic, more achievement, focus on how you can improve a situation. Understand that even if negativity is constantly being thrown at you, you can still, there's still something you can do about it. Maybe you just didn't figure it out yet, but just keep trying. It might sound silly, but also, I've said this before, try to give yourself some positive self-talk. For every negative thing you catch yourself saying to yourself, say 5 positive things about yourself, even if you have to stay there for a while. It might be hard, it might seem silly, but just do it every day until you start to realize that, hey, maybe these positive things that I'm saying to myself aren't so silly. Focus on your effort. Focus on possibilities. Don't waste your time telling yourself that you suck or you're a loser, because that doesn't help anyone. You are worthwhile, and you are at least worth attempting to only speak to yourself more positively. You can improve your talent or intelligence or work ethic and reach higher levels of your craft just by knowing that psychology studies have shown that you can get better with effort. My effort will help me achieve my goals. My effort will bring me closer to where I want to be. Because the studies show, science backs up that type of mentality. Because there's a lot of hard work involved, people don't often really employ, it's hard to change your situation, especially when there's more than just your effort that's trying to keep you down. But the more effort and belief that you feel you can employ to help improve your situation helps improve the situation possibility for others who might be in the same boat as you. Just trying in the face of challenge can inspire change. Maintain hope in yourself. And my 15th takeaway is that learning from an early age that you can do something about your situation can help protect you from developing this learned helplessness. Steve Meyer did another study where he did a shock experiment, but he did it this time with rats. And when they reached adolescence, he did the same experiment on those same rats again, and they found that the rats who were able to do something about their situation ended up being more adventurous and resilient, and apparently the circuitry or the plasticity in their brains responds to truly stressful occurrences differently, and they almost shields your brain from learning to be helpless. It almost solidifies the idea that if you can do something, you can do something later. But the inverse is true too. If you learn early on that you can't do anything, then as you get older, that's also how you feel. So it's important, if you want to rear children, or if you have kids that you want to help them become resilient and have grit, you have to help them realize that they can do something about their situation, and that will help them further in life when they have to deal with situations on their own. My 16 takeaway is that you can get better at so many things, almost across the board. People need to retrain what they attribute their difficulties towards. Some ordinary people honestly think that they're just genetically bad at math, and that's why they struggle. They don't take into account all the other variables because, you know, there's a whole bunch of different reasons why someone could be bad, or not bad, but have difficulty, and someone could just breeze through something. There's a difference in maybe they had better teachers, or their parents are better at helping them with their classes, or they did more practice problems until it was second nature, while, you know, most kids just did the homework that was assigned to them. A lot of times we like, especially kids, like to check out during class mentally, and when maybe we had a tough night the night before, or a lot of the teachers before that specific class weren't particularly good, and they didn't have access to the same resources, or, you know, there's the difference in money that aids their education. Some people just keep taking breaks and scrolling through TikTok. I kind of do this when they should be focusing. Some people get really afraid of math, and the fright stops them from thinking properly, and they just kind of short circuit, while others are just relaxed and they can think more clearly because they're just relaxed. So, you know, even if genetically you were still on par with somebody else, there's so many environmental factors that can help aid somebody else's growth and somebody else's need for further assistance. So don't think that you are doomed, like, especially with books that are available. If I remember in high school, I had I was put in the wrong class and they only had a folder, and when I was put in the right class we had an actual book, and the difference in my ability to understand the material was like so drastic. I felt bad that this was the type of education difference in the same school. So you just have to be resourceful and put in that time, you know. You try, like, spend extra hours on practice problems, use Khan Academy, do extra drills, whatever. Just don't stop whenever you have setbacks. Just know that your effort is not futile. You can do something about your aptitude with the right kind of effort, especially if it's extremely focused and deliberate. Carol Dweck did a study where she showcased that adolescents were able to change their IQ by deliberate practice. They were able to change even the structures of their brains. So don't discount work ethic from being able to help propel you. My 17th and last personal takeaway I will share is kind of like a repeat, but this is especially hard to do if you have social anxiety. No, I mentioned this before. This is not my 17th takeaway. This is like my third takeaway of the same thing. Just find friends and mentors who continually encourage and push you to reach your goals despite your own self-doubt. You know, you're the one who puts in all the work, but then the moment where you want to give up and you're just ready to put it down and do something easier, if you have just at least one person tell you, hey, keep going, you can do this, that is a gift. Like, if you even have to just find online forums or something, or social media, you know, it opens up a whole different community of people that maybe you might not immediately be surrounded by. If you can find somebody who's warm, respectful, supportive, yet demanding as a mentor, if you didn't have that as a parent, or didn't have, you know, it's like people really can affect the way that you see yourself and your trajectory. And a lot of times people can defy those odds, but if you surround yourself with people who have high-level work ethic as the norm, you'll start to fall in line. So a lot of people think it's crazy to wake up at 4 a.m. to go to swim practice, but if everyone you know is doing it, then that's just what you do. It becomes routine. It elevates your baseline of grittiness. So just know that even the most independent thinker is still influenced by the culture that they immerse themselves in. So don't, you know, stop hanging out with the friends that you're loyal to, that you grew up with, but try to widen your circle and find people who help you get to the place that you want to be, or at least have the grittiness that you want to have instilled in yourself. Just get with people who have the attributes that you want to embody. If you want to keep fighting after most people would quit, to keep getting back up after you get knocked down, you gotta get with people who are hungry to win, who finish strong, who share that mental toughness, who want to weather any storm. You start to pick up a lot of things that you didn't otherwise know would be so beneficial. If you can't find those people immediately, just motivational content, find the greats in your field, watch interviews, learn how to do different things from different videos and books, and just continuously put massive energy and effort into what you're trying to accomplish. Just keep going, just keep trying, don't get distracted. Yeah, just find that time, that routine, surround yourself with the right people. Just find people who keep your head on straight and stop you from doubting yourself and encourage you to keep striving for your dreams. So thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked anything you heard today, let me know, and leave in the comments below if you have any suggestions or if you have any questions. And these are all just personal takeaways from the book. I haven't really actually employed a bunch of these, so I will let you know when I do. And just have an amazing rest of your day, and good luck on your journey to success. Bye!